this is a great ending to our day today, to be with you three again. How's everyone doing?
This is
as well as it can
No
be.
complaints.
I've had a lot
Sasha.
of technical difficulties today.
Aliza had a lot of technical difficulties today?
A lot of technical difficulties.
Why?
Because the Wi-Fi out here is really bad.
I was totally jealous of Aliza. She's like, I can't do 2, I can't do 11. I'm like, I have nothing to do. I'm gonna be
I have nothing.
literally, it's like, I'm free, send. No, I'm good then, send. And Lisa's like, wait, I can't. Sasha had things to do. I'm like, I'm sitting at the kitchen table waiting for you guys all day. I've been here for 4 hours.
I'm probably somewhere in the middle. I had some things to do, and then I also, it's been, I will say this, I have been pretty busy. Content really doesn't slow down, does it? Right, guys? I mean, it doesn't. So,
No.
Everyone, Robert had a mask on.
I have several. I mean,
Sasha had a mask on.
You want me to I'll put it back on.
And we'd like to show us your masks.
All right.
I'm gonna get you.
I'm so used to this now that, you know.
You are.
I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this mask to make Sasha jealous. I'm putting it on.
Oh God. Did you see the mask I posted yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good. Well, it matches my robe.
I know.
Let's talk about this. Where is everyone getting their masks from? Let's start with Aliza. Do you have any masks as of yet?
I will say that I have no fashion masks. I did order masks from Reformation, which are non-usable as far as I'm concerned, because you have to tie them on the sides, which I think is unacceptable as a user experience. I think there should be elastic involved. So I have KN95 masks from some random website that's probably making $4 million off of this,
Yeah, I personally have 2 N95 masks from like something from a very long time ago, and I've used the one like probably 8 times. I'm like leaving the other one in reserve.
Oh, I have one of those. I have one.
And I ordered a bunch of black like stretchy masks. Do you know what I mean? I forgot what that fabric is. That like stretch.
Like neoprene, like the kind that have to cut out.
Neoprene.
Yeah.
I have some of those. I have 10 of those on the way.
Basic black to wear with pearls.
Basic black. What is your mask game like, Robert? You showed us like an African print. You showed us a leopard print.
Yeah. So my boyfriend started making masks. So there's literally 1,500 masks behind the screen. So that's been special. So I've had the ability to just like procure great, stylish, fashionable masks. They're all 100% cotton. He's making them. He's doing a local community initiative for everyone he sells. He gives one to a community worker, an essential worker. So he's now giving them away to like our local coffee shop, to our grocery stores, to the postal workers in our post office around the corner, MTA workers in our stop downstairs. So he sells them in sets of 5, and then he goes and distributes. And now it's going well. So he's starting to give them to his niece's school teachers. He's sending them to, so it's good. And so that part's great.
Here are the links so we can have fashionable masks too.
Fashionable masks. It's McKenzieLeotard.com. It's McKenzieliautaud.com. It's hard. It's a hard one. I'll post it on my I posted, but I don't have any, and I've had, strangely, this won't come as a surprise to you guys, I have a collection of masks. For years, I've been collecting masks.
Shocker.
Exactly what I said. You won't be surprised. They're not functionally right for protection, but I have them.
Well, anything's right for protection as long as you don't, breathe on anybody. So it doesn't really matter what the material is, really.
And Sasha, what masks do you have?
Well, somebody sent this to me. My friend Sarah Jane Wild sent this to me from LA. She
Describe
made it.
It's so good.
It's cotton, so I wash it. I
Yeah.
wash it every night, and it's got that button on it, right? And it's black on black, so she got me down. And it's really perfect. And then I just kind of let it hang. But we've been out, we walk the dog and go get groceries. So we do those things and we wear it, just why not? Why should I, so I've been, so I wear that. We have a standard one, but I'm not using that anymore. We're just using these. And so far, so good, knock wood, no complaints.
So it's safe to say everyone here is into fashion masks. The more elaborate, the better. Like, what are we thinking? And then the other question I had,
I think that we all would want the variety, right? We want the breadth of options, like the simple black one. We want the designer. We might even want embellished ones if we get back to going out in the evening. We want cocktail masks. I do think that we're a crew that really wants to have the breadth of expression, style expression in our wardrobe.
We need choice.
Especially as we move forward with this. Like right now, I'm happy to not have, I have no fashion masks here and it's fine. I'm not going anywhere. But if this is like life, I'm going to need everything from mask to couture mask.
Right. I guess that was my thinking in buying the black stretchy neoprene mask. I was like, at least I have my core collection of standard washable black.
Essential.
But have you guys considered, are you guys thinking about like just style in general? Because I'm now thinking about like what kind of what looks are going to return, and I think that we're going to revive something like, for lack of a better description, like Rick Owens is not a revival, but has this kind of apocalyptic style that I've embraced in the last 5 or so years, maybe 10 years. And I think that Western is going to be a theme that comes back.
Because we're in the Wild West?
Because we're in the Wild West. I do. I think that Western boots are going to come back. I think that Western hats. I think that that look is going to come back. It's American in many ways. It's in a classic American look.
So you think that trend is going to rise to the occasion of mask wearing? So it's going to like meet mask wearing in the middle, right?
Yes, that's what I think, and I don't know why, because there's no logic to my train of thought on it. I found that I started looking at, here's what I've learned, and I think this is true for all of us. We've all been at a lot of fashion shows. We all love fashion. We all have designers, etc. We read magazines, we read articles. We're voraciously like consuming information. And I found that I started looking, I saw a cowboy hat, and I'm like, oh, cowboy hats. And then I'm like, Western boots. And I go into Justin. I went to Durango. And I'm like, oh my God, this feels right. And I think if it feels right, I don't think I'm some genius. I think other people will think it feels right too. And I think
you're seeing the whole story. You're building the story around it. I love that.
I want Aliza to wear that headband with the Western boots.
Oh, there you go.
I had an amazing collection of cowboy boots. Amazing.
Rid of them all? You got rid of them.
Of course.
I have a pair. I don't really like, it's my pair in a very like 90s colorway. It's like a medium brown and black combo.
Listen, I could get into this. Very chic. I could get into a fringe. Sasha, you're all about fringe. You could wear fringe all day long.
I got some fringe.
Yeah.
I was doing an Instagram live with a music producer, and she started pulling out a bunch of masks that a brand sent her, and they were fringe chain mask, and she had them in like every color, green, turquoise, unbelievable chains.
Where can we get those? We need those.
I don't know. She mentioned the brand to me, but I will put that in the show notes, I guess. Do you think, I think Story Range should do a curated like mask editorial story.
Ask.
No, I mean, we could
found
do
a
a
great
mask
one last
shop.
night.
We
that-
could do a whole, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
thanks,
totally.
Aliza. See, Aliza always thinking about the business of fashion here. You're right. We could set up a whole mask shop. I mean, actually just having, you know what? This actually just makes me think of this sort of in a bigger way. Like I am not talking to people like you about masks. And in this conversation with my fashion friends, like now I'm really thinking about masks in a bigger way and all of them that are out there and everyone's point of view on them. And now I'm inspired to create a mask shop.
See?
Yeah.
And I will shop your mask shop.
Yeah, and
It's
so
a hard
Robert, will you,
idea to have
Boyfriend in the shop.
a destination where people can go and find like a variety of styles. I mean, you'll probably have a viewpoint. I think a lot of these, I think there will ultimately be mask shops, just, you know, like there's a hat store or like David Letterman's old joke, like going into just shades or just bulbs and saying like, do you have lamps? And they're like, nope, just shades.
No, just bulbs. Right, just masks.
Right?
your Robert, your boyfriend, can we sell his masks on the site, or is there?
100%.
Let's talk about that in a little more detail. How did he go about setting up the whole mask business? When I think of you know, I have a friend who started making masks. We can talk about the designers that started making masks, Christian Siriano and other designers for other reasons with other objectives and all sorts of specific objectives. Is there a way to create and sell these masks and not to? This reminds me of my days at Oprah magazine where we always did things with charity and with give back. And we were always very diligent about like making sure we knew what all those components of that person's business were in terms of what the profit was, what the charity give, you know, all of that. So your boyfriend is you've been witness to him creating this mask business.
Yes.
Tell us more about the business of mask making right now.
Well, I think that here's what I mean, you know, I'm folded into it a little bit because a lot of the contacts to make these are my contacts because I know a lot of manufacturers. I know people who have like the necessary processes. So for Mackenzie, it was like he immediately saw that there was going to be a long term where we're going to be having these and that people wanted them to start looking better, to not just be blue and disposable. I think that's like an obvious, and that we need to leave the real things for our essential workers and frontline workers so that they're really protected because they're really exposed. And then I think that, you know, so that process was kind of easy. It's just like, okay. And then he had to decide aesthetically what he wanted them to look like. And he really loves a lot of the African Ankara prints, those beautiful, like the one I'm wearing, like this one, these beautiful prints. And they're all cotton. So there's a dealer that we had met when we went to a trade show who deals with all those prints. So we called him. Of course, we had to go to his warehouse. We went to the warehouse. We were all gloved, social distance, masks on, other masks, not the masks he made. And we procured the fabrics. We contacted a company, another friend of ours who makes yoga pants, of all things, but he has a cut and sew factory. So he has a cut and sew factory. So they're able to cut like the stacks, like when you see the stacks of fabric, you guys know this. And so we gave him a couple of patterns and he tried them. He had already been contacted by other companies. And, you know, when we started this about a month ago, I started working on this with him. The guy who we're doing business with, the cut and sew factory, had obviously been contacted by many other people and had orders of upwards of 40,000 hospital gowns, you know, thousands of masks in all different calibers, from like linens to silk charmeuse and he had to hire another 13 to 20 employees. He said business is booming. It's never been as busy. He's sad by virtue of the fact that, you know, it's sad that this is what drove his business, but he feels thankful that something good came of this tragic moment in our culture for him. And that then I think that once you start making the masks, what I said to Kenzie is like, so now and everybody's in this game, you have to think about competitive edge. So there's brand recognition. There's like, well, will Chanel start to make them? Will Gucci start to make them? But then if you're kind of in a general space of like 100% cotton mask that's not a medical device, then what's your competitive edge? And that's going to be, to me, supply. So do you have them in stock? And pricing. How are they priced in comparison to other products that are the same?
And Robert as your boyfriend.
Yeah. Yes, and as my so those were the things that I guess we looked at. And then you know, there were minimums, like they wouldn't cut less than 1,000 pieces, so he had to commit to 1,000. He committed to a couple of thousand because he wanted to, you know, we have to look at the numbers on like cost per unit, giveaway, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah. It's a complex thing, but everybody is in this game. There's nobody who's not making masks right now. Everybody's making.
Right. Masks and gowns.
Masks, yeah. Masks and gowns. Let's talk about quarantine style. What are your, Sasha brought this up the other day. What are your top 3 to 5 essentials?
Can I just show you something? Hold on a second.
Oh,
my
look.
husband just brought me this.
Oh, that's nice.
My kind of style.
That's
right?
Nice.
He just handed me the glass. We didn't see him. But
I saw his arm. I saw his arm protrude from some French doors. We saw the arm.
Yes,
French
my
doors.
beautiful French doors.
Yeah. What are top 3 to 5 essentials in lockdown? We'll start with you, Sasha.
Okay, so I just sent you a little document on this.
You did. It printed out.
I realized that, well, as soon as something opens up and get rid of stuff and donate it, you know, I just have so much stuff that it's just not, it doesn't mean anything anymore. It's just stuff.
Okay.
So I figured out that I need 3 things.
Okay.
Besides other things.
Okay.
This robe, this is Norma Kamali, okay? This robe turned into a dress, turned into a robe, turned into a caftan, turned into a thing. The fabric's great. I'm not sweating, you know? So I send you a link on that robe. Norma Kamali.
Let's put all this stuff in the show notes. This is great.
Okay. So I need my robes because that doubles as a dress and that's it. My eyeliner.
Yeah,
I mean, talk about my Sephora eyeliner.
Wait, everyone, I'm this Sephora brand. Did I not talk about this with you, or did I talk about this with somebody else?
I don't know.
Anyway, I've been in search of like a gray crayon-y eyeliner, and I searched every brand on the planet, every luxury, every brand. Nobody had a gray crayon-y eyeliner except for Sephora, and our fashion editor Alana swears by all the Sephora brand.
All of the Sephora eyeliners, but particularly the one I sent you a link on, so we'll have it in the
we'll have it in the show notes.
It's the greatest liner because it just goes on and it stays on. So
is that
and I'm not doing that much.
Black?
What's that?
You wearing gray or black?
Black.
It's really good. It's not a liquid liner, it's a crayon liner?
No, it's a crayon. And it kind of, and then it gets just, it's really great on the skin. And I don't have to do anything with it. I don't have to put powder on it. I don't have to do anything. So it stays all day. And I like it, you know, like a really thick line. And then I just do under the eyes and that's it. And a lot of stuff seeps into my skin, so it disappears. So I really just can't stand that. So, but this, the best. And they have gray, white, blue, green, you know, whatever. So if I could just have that liner for the rest of my life, perfect.
You better stock up.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know how it goes with makeup. When the makeup disappears, it disappears. You need to buy.
Yes. Yeah. But luckily, this is so generic for them that it's just it's just a thing that doubles as a liner shadow. So it's kind of perfect.
How is it priced?
And I love that. And then my other thing that's become extremely important. All right. I don't love the tie-dye trend for me. All right. I'm 55. I'm going to be 56, which means the number just means that there's certain things I just should not be doing. Okay. That's one of them. In my mind.
I'm totally on board with this. I get it. I feel the same.
I need to pause. I need to pause. I'm a little bit, I get that stuff. Like for me, it's the hair barrette moment, the big hair barrette moment. and
Oh, the mask. Yeah.
the big hair barrette. You know, no one should be doing that past a certain age. But I'm surprised that Sasha and with Robert co-signing on this, that you're taking away the tie-dye trend, because I feel like I'm seeing Sasha wearing that in like a strap of a shoe.
Well, okay. I
You know what
didn't.
mean? I almost see like a little nod to tie-dye in your style.
No. So what I was really saying was that I can't do a hoodie.
Oh, yeah.
No, sorry. I won't do a hoodie, a tie-dye hoodie. I love them, but I won't be doing them for me. I won't be doing a matching sweatpant either, and a dance. I'm not doing those three
Sasha,
things.
guys, I almost, you know, that store, the West Side.
Yes.
Yes.
So I got sucked into the merchandising at the West Side like last summer, and I was like, I need this polo rainbow tie-dyed sweatpant.
Yeah, but can
Okay.
I tell you what stops you?
I was like,
imagine somebody who you don't want to be like. And for me, I always think like, I think like, if I see I'm 51, and I'm like, if I see a 50-year-old guy wearing silver track pants, do I think that's tragic? Yes. And then therefore I know it looks tragic on me. But I do think that we're in the middle passage, and that when you get to the other side, north of 70, you can Iris Apfel the fuck out of your life and be like,
right.
I'm back to tie-dye.
All right, now here,
Right.
back to tie-dye.
Go back to tie-dye. Sorry.
I have a friend. Her name is Allie Grace, and she works at Gucci. And she has decided to design socks.
I have a pair of tie-dye socks. When I was like, I need to forego these crazy sweatpants that I'm never going to wear, I bought the polo tie-dye socks.
So I started putting her socks with my crazy ass shoes.
Yes.
And they work, but they work only as a sock for me doing the trend. So I'm supporting her because she's an American brand, American made, handmade. They're $25 to order. I have to say the quality is really great. They didn't run in the machine, and they're wonderful. And I'll send you a picture.
My socks to show you my tie-dye socks. We're all on the same page.
Oh my God, it's a
All right.
tie-dye socks.
So I do love this here. This is how I'm handling being one with everyone. And I've gotten massive compliments on the socks with the shoes. And the reason why I have to wear the socks is because my feet are tragic right now because I haven't been able to maintain them.
Yes, that's another thing.
So
we'll get to that.
Socks and sandals. I look like a super, but it's okay. I love it. So those are my three things.
Okay. Aliza, three, what are you relying on style-wise?
First of all,
Go-to essentials, actually. It's not style, but it's like a go-to essential. What are you relying on in quarantine?
So first of all, I want to go on record to say I disagree. Sasha, I think you can totally rock a tie-dye hoodie.
Sasha.
No. I appreciate that, but the thing is I won't do it because I think I'll look like an asshole. That's all.
Hold on. I also have I have a tie-dye hoodie.
I love you, Aliza. Sorry.
I don't subscribe to those rules. I feel like it's the personality of the person that determines what they can get away with, and you and Robert can wear whatever the fuck you want.
There's a lot of truth.
And Tamara, you can as well. But I'm just saying.
No, Robert and Sasha, there's a lot of truth in that statement. But I have a hoodie story too, which is like, that's the piece that you want. And then, I was in Venice, California 2 years ago for like shoots or whatever I was doing in California at the time. And there was a little store on Abbot Kinney that had like brands, but then they had like somebody who was like tie-dyeing oversized hoodies in really good colors, in a really good shape.
And you were in, you did.
And I was in, and I was like, she's like, we're restocking them tomorrow. I showed up tomorrow, no restocking. I called, I followed up the entire trip. I was looking for that hoodie. They never restocked what they said they were going to restock. But Sasha, it was like the hoodie that
got away,
that you could wear, that like was the right cut, that had the tie-dye in all the right places. And I was obsessed. So
I get not to like digress on hoodies, but like I do believe the proportion of the hoodie is very important, like how voluminous it is in the body. Anyway,
that's right. Yeah, I will agree with you. Sorry on that, because I saw a Pyre Moss hoodie that was tie-dyed, and the shape of it was A-line, and it was perfection, but I won't be doing it. But I love you.
I love you too. So my signature red lipstick is Sephora collection.
Oh, that's right. And maybe we did have this some semblance of this conversation.
I don't know. It's
we may have.
It's the absolute best.
Yeah.
It doesn't come off at all, ever. I sleep in it. So essentials for me. So I'm probably, not typical in the sense of I do put on makeup every day. I do get dressed every day. That is my normal. So for me, it's like what I've done.
You look this cute every day.
After 2:00.
All of her pictures, she looks cute every day.
Yeah, well, thank you. But I would say this, Robert, if I have meetings, then yes, this is what I look like. But
I get it.
I've pared down my
repertoire.
Yeah, so to speak.
Thoroughly pulled together.
Yeah.
So I only wear two pairs of jeans. I have a black pair and a blue pair. I switch them off every single day. Obviously, I have a washing machine, so I wash them. But I literally only wear 2 jeans. And then I will have more fun with my tops and my headbands. So it's definitely tabletop dressing for me, whether it's Zoom or anything else. I feel the need to put on clothes, because if I don't put on clothes, if I'm just in leggings, I am never full, ever.
You're never full, meaning you eat too much?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a thing. That's definitely a thing. No, that's a thing.
Yes, it is a thing.
But that's very much, Aliza, that's very much to Sasha's point, where I think what Sasha, you were trying to say.
That's actually what I'm trying to say.
That's exactly what Sasha's trying to say, which, the bigger conversation is that, you drill down to what's essential and what you're using and what you're not using.
I do think that there's going to be a lot of that happening, that we are going to, I think we all live in some weird way, and I don't know this to be true of all of you, but I'm going to say that we're very lucky people on the planet, and that there's a lot of excess in our lives. And I feel like I want to get rid of a lot of stuff, and I live in abundance, not like in a gross way. I mean, but I have a lot of stuff. I can't get into my closet. I have to try and manage like a rolling rack that comes in and out of the closet. I don't wear half of it.
No.
Well, can we do a little sort of like a footnote? Is that, fashion people are collectors.
Yes.
Collectors by nature. Like we're the people that see the value in the thing that we bought in 1989, so, anyway.
Yeah.
So I just have to ask the group a question, because I think this is really interesting. So Tracy Taylor, you guys know Tracy, right?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tracy on her Instagram last week said she believes that at a certain point in the future, we are going to go back to maximalism. And I have to say, I really hope that happens, because there is a part of me that feels like we've been like cooped up in this like minimalist cage. And by the way, I hate minimalism more than anything in fashion. Like for me, it's like death. So
yeah, I would say
I would love nothing more than to wear my entire wardrobe at one time in the near future.
I love that.
Wait, wear my wardrobe what?
I would like to wear my entire wardrobe at one time.
Yeah,
right.
Let me ask, can I ask a question here? So have you thought about just like the volume of stuff you have and the reality of how much of the stuff you'll wear? Because it's like, I look at it like this is kind of a weird thought process, but a lot of times when you speak to small retailers, you'll learn that what they sell a lot of is a very small number of items in the store, right? 10% of items drive the business, make everything happen.
That's
90% of the stuff ends up 75% off.
Sure.
Right.
I feel like that's true of our individual wardrobes, that we buy a lot of stuff, but that you only wear a small percentage of it. So
That's true.
Well, I would.
I'm going to wear half of what I have.
Yeah, but to go back to the added layer for people like us, which is, Robert, what I think you were saying was like, for most people, there is the core that you're going to wear all the time.
Yes.
There's the rest that fills out your closet. And then for people like us, there's the third of the third that is the like, can't get rid of it, need to keep it, it's going to be good someday again, that.
Yes.
Well, then there's the fourth, which is I can't wait to go back to a time. I mean, getting dressed in the morning is a joy for me. Like,
Yeah.
it is my Olympics. Like, if I don't have anywhere to go and no one to see, like, no, that's to me, that's not, I mean, so for me, getting dressed and thinking about fashion for the day, that's my armor.
Well,
Can I tell you what I think that is, though? That I think part of that is that we are New York people, and that one of the things that I noticed when I started spending more time in LA is that in LA people wear clothes. I mean, wear cars, not clothes. And in New York, we wear clothes because the second you walk out of the house, like Aliza's saying, like the second you walk out, you see your neighbors. Hi, oh, you look so cute. You see your doorman. You see the guy at the coffee shop. You see, you know, you're on public transportation. Strangers are checking you out. You're like, you look cute. You arrive. Everybody's like, oh my God, Aliza's here. Oh, she looks so good. Like, we live that life.
Yeah.
And the other thing happens in LA, and this is actually, I just want to throw this out to you guys, that I've thought about this a lot, not recently, but this was something that occurred to me, was that when all of the casual wear, not even athleisure, like before that, the original Juicy Couture,
the
velour
sweatsuit chic.
Yes, became
All
so stylish. It's because the paparazzi were chasing the celebrities around Hollywood.
We're catching people
Those girls
on the way.
were leaving their homes in those sweatshirts to go to the set to get into character, right?
Leaving Robert to bring it back to
No, he's very right.
right? And
Yeah.
so they were not dressed as these like fashion heroes that we saw on Sex and the City, or even the stylish, you know, women on Living Single, or Portia de Rossi on Arrested Development. Like, they would go to work in, like, you know,
Uggs.
Right.
And Uggs, but paparazzi took pictures of them, and those pictures get disseminated, and then America starts to imitate their celebrities.
Well, then,
so that's why we walk into airports.
Then you have someone like Patricia Field, who then takes the Ugg trend and makes Uggs, make them in like tomato red, and puts them on Sarah Jessica Parker with like the best outfit ever. And then somebody like me goes and buys the red Uggs. They're right.
You know, something really interesting happened with all of this shit that we have. See, how I'm looking at it is not to be a downer, but this was like maybe the only time where we've really been in our lifetime apocalyptic. And I'm trying to think about, you know, if I had to run the hell out of here, what are the three things or whatever it is that I'm taking with me? Because all of this is just stuff. And yesterday I was getting crazy because I was trying to think, you know, where does this, we have to move on, you know, we have to move it forward, not look back. Mm-hmm. We have to move forward because the masks are reality now. This is not a trend, so to speak. But they're, you know, how we wear them differently, or what the patterns are, whatever.
How we interpret them,
Yeah, that's going to be normal now. And so, you know, so I'm trying to think, when was a time when this had happened before? And I looked at these amazing Vogues, British Vogues from 1941. And they really addressed, they had bombs dropping on their heads. The offices were completely bombed out, but they kept making, so the amazing editor-in-chief, Audrey, would write these things and photograph models in front of these, you know, shells of buildings that were just completely blown up the day before in couture. And it was interesting. And she said, you know, we have to rethink everything.
Right.
And, just everything. Every single thing has to be rethought.
But speaking of what you were saying a little bit earlier, Robert, which is like how history shapes fashion, two of my questions for all of you was, will heels disappear, and will there be a real uptick in athleisure, as we called it? Like, what do we think about that? Are heels gonna become less important, and is athleisure gonna build out as a category?
I think tops. By the way, no one's talking about gloves. Someone needs to get on gloves.
Yeah. I think we have to just rethink everything. I think why I brought up the war was because all of their things that were important before are not important now. So what are you doing? So you're actually, they did hairstyles that were meant for women who had helmets on their heads all day. So, like everything has to be for a purpose as opposed to me. There will be the me's. I think the influencer category is going to, I'm not going to say that's going to die out, but it has to change.
Yes.
We all have to change. It all has to be for a reason.
Well, Sasha, what do you mean by that?
Everything has to change. We have to.
No, in terms of influencers, how is that going to change, in your opinion?
Well, because everybody's just going to say, oh, shut the fuck up about your ass and your fake pool and your, whatever. Look what's happening. Look what's happening around you. All of that kind of frivolous stuff.
Yeah, but that's we need to kill everyone who's tone deaf, essentially, and
right.
they have learned the hard way. I think everyone at this point is aware that doesn't fly at this moment, but brands still need to sell.
Well, they need content. Yes.
And by the way, what are we on our phones? 85% more. So to me, influencer is going to increase, but the smart ones are going to pivot in the way that they tell their story.
Right. Well, that's it. The fancy trips are over because you can't get anywhere.
Right.
Well,
maybe virtual becomes more important in every way. Maybe it'll
100%. But also, and then magazines have to rethink everything. But they're going to be helpful in a digital way because they're going to have a digital counterpart. But they have to revamp their stories. I mean, seeing Anna, which is like a whole other topic, but seeing Anna in jogging, I didn't really give a shit. I didn't give a rat's ass. It's like, okay, fine. You had that great cover with Irving Penn's Rose, and then you blew it with a picture of you running in the woods with a tracksuit we were just talking about, with a tracksuit on. And to me, it kind of defeated the purpose of that beautiful cover.
Yeah.
I feel like everything just needs to be, everybody needs to rewind and rethink it, right? Aliza, is what you're saying. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's not going to necessarily die out, but it has to change its course. It has to change its direction. Absolutely. It has to be more real. And that's what I think needs to happen,
Absolutely. Some people haven't gotten the message, though.
Most people haven't gotten the message, but it just happened. I mean, this just happened.
3 months.
We're only talking about right.
I don't know. I wrote about brand voice during a crisis.
I think the Titans will.
Robert, you were saying?
Oh, I said I think the Titans will fall. And to Sasha's point, I think people who are nimble and quick thinking, and I mean, there will always be, like, we know these things, right? There will always be wealthy people. There will always be, some sort of spending happening, and we just don't know where. Like, we can kind of, again, we're not like experts, but we're like, okay, it's not going to happen in travel. Is it, it seems that like in a strange way, we are all knocked off of our game and forced to rethink.
Yes.
I mean, literally everybody I've spoken to has talked about, and it's been in my mind too. It's like simplifying, just simplifying.
What's going to be helpful and useful?
I keep using
glamorous.
Yeah.
those of us who,
Right.
who want it to be glamorous can be glamorous, but how
course.
is it helpful? How is it
Yeah.
useful?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
that-
maybe glamour returns to an occasion too. Like we kind of
Right.
were always dressed up. Like people were wearing sequins to the office. Like maybe we reserve those things to celebrate again, and that we reveal that we're like a little, you know. And I mean, the thing that that makes me scared is when you think of the art imitates life, and like The Handmaid's Tale and Gilead and Contagion, and you see these movies and these series on television that are like, are we were we already channeling this? Like,
Like a self-fulfilling prophecy? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, is it a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Never mind the fact that Gilead is the actual drug company. That's
I know.
I mean,
know.
that's crazy. But also, it is a time of innovation, and it always is.
yes, yes.
When you think about what can happen with virtual reality right now, and virtual reality travel and augmented reality, like now is the time for that, because we want to travel. Maybe we can do it another way.
Right. That's
Wow,
all.
that's-
It's just thinking of it another way and modernizing it to
It's
fit
really
the needs of
interesting.
what's happening right now. And that's why those war issues are so important, because everything that they thought was, you know, frivolous and whatnot really didn't stack up when your house was bombed out.
Yeah.
So, or when your entire family's wiped out. I mean, this is what's happening. It's so insane and so crazy. But you're right, it brings forth innovation.
You know, the films of that period were also just these dreamy, romantic, incredible films, right?
Right.
And they were scripted, and they were the cinematography was beautiful. They were real escapist like vehicles. Maybe we'll move away from these reality shows and go back to like these scripted, beautifully
Fantasy.
told stories.
Yeah,
And I think too, one of Aliza's points too is that, I mean, I think with every plague and with every whatever terrible thing, everybody still wants to be glamorous. Okay.
Yeah.
all right.
And we agree that
That's right.
there's
That's
always
very
going to be that.
Well, you guys, this was such a wonderful and valuable chat to be having right now, and we're going to talk soon.
All
I
right.
love
Thank
you all. Bye.
Love you. Stay
Bye.
safe.
Bye.
Okay.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.